Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John's reports for the 6th of November. And well, you can see from that turnaround setup here of the orange going below, we've got the green well over. That created this massive push right back up because of the status quo, so to speak, in a split government, at least with the theoretical idea of the Senate maintaining itself. That gave market impetus to the idea that we would either have a static conflicted government regardless of who wins the presidency. Now that's going to potentially have some difficulties because as more of these interesting mail-in ballot situations develop, and you have the president contesting dramatically on all of the fronts, there's going to be a tipping point where the acrimony in that starts to create a massive delay. I mean, I don't know what judge is going to want to be involved in any of this stuff, but regardless, it's going to happen now. We had the positive extreme here on the NASDAQ, and that did lead to some pullback right towards it, which, not surprisingly, has been bought up partially here in the after-hours market. And a lot of that's just to fill positive extremes, and not really anything too dramatic. But as this starts to play out, we could get some more potential risk-off situations, particularly if things start to deteriorate, and that becomes an unknown. And again, markets just don't like unknowns. So gridlock is a known, but will it lead to a serious decay in acrimony? That becomes more problematic. So to be continued, I guess, is the way. And of course, that's a flight out of the dollar, just because of the uncertainty, and we knew that that was the potential here for the euro to make a move. Not that the euro is any special thing, because it's a disaster. European countries with the lockdowns that they're doing, so they're going to be forced into some quantitative easing as well, which is going to be devastating from that standpoint as well. So we'll just see how that one begins to play. We expected gold as a hedge measure to start to climb off of this, and sure enough, that's exactly what it's doing. I think you're even seeing the same situation in Bitcoin and all of that. So what we had was a series of runs that created some nice positive extremes, all the way back down to the 3450 range, and you can see that that's exactly where we came right back down towards for the fill post-market. And overall, still the action is very clean from an algo standpoint. It's just going to be one of these where we're getting these outsized moves, and of course that's why they've increased all these margin requirements and stuff, because of this extreme volatility, and that's not going to die down. In fact, it could just amplify more as we get further along in this situation. To me, it's interesting because you get some real interesting statistical anomalies, but I don't know how that gets litigated, because you get areas like Wisconsin where you have 90% voter turnout. Well, that's never happened in an election there before. And then you have the discrepancy between these top line votes versus not following through. Like, when you're in Michigan, Donald Trump to the Senate candidates within like 6,000 votes, but Biden to the Senate candidate is almost 60,000+ difference, which means some people just or these votes that are coming in only have one vote. And then, of course, the question really comes down to what kind of proof is there, and if it leads to an instability in the validity of the election completely, who knows where that goes. So this isn't over by any stretch, and you're just going to have a lot of PR battles and everything. And I can't imagine. I think it's a bit different than Gore Bush back when that happened. This seems to be spread out further. And more widespread. And of course, this was something that was always a concern with the mail-in ballot situation, where you're now not even verifying signatures to who voted. So how do you even determine, unless you go back and ask each of the people who voted, is this your real vote? I mean, can you imagine? That's just crazy scenarios. And so for now, there's still enough potential for liquidity boosts with the Fed and everything to maintain stability, that the market's going to react in a bullish way, but as risk starts to change, you might see some alterations to that. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on it. You know, I have my own domestic issues. Fortunately, we got Isabella back from the hospital, so that was a good sign, but they still don't know what's exactly wrong with her. So crazy time, you know, that's the nature of 2020 so far. And we'll just keep going with it. But we're at 35 here for the ES. Still on that way to the 4,000, which was the projection, but of course, it could be delayed now or speed up if things get resolved quickly. But if they don't, I think we're looking at more outside risk that's going to create some dramatic moves, particularly in after hours is where I'll be looking, because I think you're going to start to see that's where the lower liquidity is going to really create some drama, because they try to clear stops and things like that, and that's where the manipulation really has a field day. So we'll keep an eye out for it, but as always, anything new and relevant, I will certainly be putting it out there. As always, though, trade well. We'll talk to you later.